Looking for the hottest podcast on the internet? Well, look no further. We've got what you need.
The hottest podcast out.
Not just out here for the streets, but for everybody. They're here for you.
They're so entertaining, and they talk about real life issues. They're super entertaining, they're energetic, and I really enjoy listening to them.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here we go. Woo! Back again, everybody. What's up? It is Mike and Jet on the Jet and Mike podcast. Thank you for tuning in with us. Hey, Justin.
What up?
What you doing?
Hey, man, you know, I'm just over here getting my shit together because I'm so excited to be back. And I guess we're not really back. We're just kind of checking in.
We're not back. We're just checking in. We're coming to say hi to everybody and, you know, see how life's treating you and tell you some of the cool stuff we got going on. And, of course, you know, we're going to talk about just a couple of cool things, you know, that's just been going on within the world and whatnot. So, first and foremost, Justin, NBA playoffs are going on.
They are. Actually, the first round has not been this bad this year. It's not, or not. I say
not as disappointing.
Not as disappointing as years past.
Agreed.
I will say, in the sense of competition,
right?
It's been competitive,
right?
But I can also be on record saying that I might rather see a few different teams in their first round than some of the ones that we have.
Okay.
But with that being said, with the teams that we are still given, I think it's still some pretty good basketball going on.
Me too. I'd agree with that statement. I think that the cool thing about this year is, you know, seeing like the Utah Jazz, you know, go against the LA Clippers and are probably going to beat them in that series, especially since they lost Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Seeing the Chicago Bulls grab those first two games, you know, and then, now the situation ain't looking too grim, too good for us, but we'll see what happens. But the key situation that I need to touch on with you, Justin, is an argument of who should win this year's MVP.
And I knew that's where we were going with that. And as we're leading up to turning the mics on, I was telling him, he was like, "Yeah, I know. I got a couple of topics that we'll jump into." And I was like, "I already know what one of those are going to be. So let me start getting my numbers together." And I'm still doing that right now. But
Justin, you know me so well.
Bounce stuff off each other.
So, Justin,
yes,
who
sir?
should be MVP?
Well, let me preface this statement by saying I had a different pick early on this year.
Correct. Who was your first pick?
My first pick was Harden.
Okay.
And I was on the bandwagon of the overall general consensus, I think, is, well, Harden's team is winning more games, and they're, you know, and now being that they just put the Thunder out, this more so holds to be true.
Correct.
To this situation.
Agreed.
But I have, as the season has gone on, I have fallen off that bandwagon.
Good. It's about time you got some sense.
And now I've got to go with our man Brody.
All right. Russell Westbrook. Why?
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to find this stat now, and I can't find it. But one of the key, I think, factors in this, in which people are trying to downplay his triple doubles as if, you know, yeah, that's a great individual stat. But when we talk about MVP, we talk about the team. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. The Thunder, when Westbrook has a triple double, what is their record? They're like, I thought I read earlier, at one point in the season, they were like 20-something and 8 or like 30-something and 8 when he had a triple-double, and that wasn't too far.
Basically, you just go ahead and say that whenever Russell Westbrook scored a triple-double, they won. Yeah. Very rarely did they ever lose with him having a triple-double.
Now, you take his triple-doubles away from that, what's their record as a team? You know what I mean? They're not winning as many games.
They're not winning as many games. And a more important stat And let me go ahead and preface by saying I totally agree with you. It should be Russell Westbrook for this season. A more important stat, and this is what really hurt the Thunder in the playoffs, was the stats of when Russell Westbrook went to the bench. Mm-hmm. And you looking at Oladipo, you're looking at Taj Gibson, you're looking at Doug McDermott, you're looking at these guys, and you're asking them to come in and to give you quality minutes and to give you shots. Roberson, the rest of those guys. I mean, it was atrocious to watch them play basketball with him not on the floor.
Yes.
And then you're asking Brody to go out and play 40 plus minutes. A game, and that's hard to do in the playoff atmosphere in somebody else's building and even at home, and that takes a lot out of you. Even if you get those 2 days rest in between games, that's a lot of minutes you're clocking there.
Yeah.
And he's went hard all season long,
Yeah.
Like
and also in that respect of, let's dissect the triple-double.
Okay.
Points, which obviously,
he's a scoring champion, reigning scoring champion 2 times.
Needs that.
Okay.
Rebounds, which that
10.9.
Tell you how you want it.
I mean, what like you're a point guard getting 10.9 rebounds.
Now this is the most important one.
Okay.
Assists.
Right.
Where are we at? Like 12? What was it? Like 11? 11?
Yeah, it was around 11.
So when people sit here and say to me, you can take individual stats all day and da-da-da-da-da, but Harden has done more for the team. Well, I think a key stat in that triple-double stat line is the assists.
Right.
Because if you think about basketball being a team sport, what is the key stat line on everybody's individual stat sheet that has a due to contribute to the team? It's assists.
Correct.
And for you to tell me that this man is coming out here, 11 assists a game is what it boils down to. But then when you see him play, he's out here 13 assists, 14 assists, 12 assists, things like that. You mean to tell me that how is James Harden more of a team player in respect to that?
Right.
When a guy is coming out here and all he's got to do is drop the ball in his teammates' hands and he puts him in a spot to succeed. How is that James Harden being more of a team player, more of a facilitator than Westbrook is? And Harden's got way more weapons to work with.
Correct.
Than Westbrook does.
Correct.
And he's still able
to
keep his assist numbers that high.
That's the issue that I actually wanted to get into. Sam Presti and those guys over there at Oklahoma City, they need to do a better job. They did not make the moves they needed to make or the trades they needed to make. Now, obviously, they made the trade with the Chicago Bulls and picked up Taj Gibson, but he was necessarily a non-factor in the playoffs.
Yes.
Doug McDermott didn't even play the last game at all. So, I mean, 2 guys you traded for, you traded off Anthony Morrow, who was one of your guys in your rotation, and Cameron Payne, who was essentially your backup point guard. You traded both of them off for, Taj Gibson, who was non-factor, and for essentially a guy that you didn't even use in Doug McDermott. So when you look at that, credit Houston's GM and credit their front office for making the right moves to grab Terrence Ross, to grab, those type of people that, now they got a full clip, man.
Yeah.
They're nice over there.
Yeah. And most respect to that front office.
Yeah.
Most respect because they traded for James Harden some years ago and they took the necessary steps to build around him.
Yep.
Something that we can say that OKC has been stupid in these past couple of years when letting Durant go.
And the funny part is most people really thought I'm sorry, I said Terrence Ross. I mean Lou Williams, excuse me. Most people thought that, once Dwight left, that they were gonna, flounder, but they picked up Eric Gordon in this offseason. They picked up Nene. They picked up Ryan Anderson. All these guys are 3-point marksmen except for Nene. Eric Gordon is a 3-point marksman. You have Ryan Anderson's 3-point marksman. You have Nene, who is a big body down low. That can obviously bang down there, get you some boards, get you some points in the paint. And then you got Clint Capella, who really stepped up, is starting. And I mean, hell, he's doing a better job than what Dwight Howard did in Houston. So when you look at all of that, I think that Houston obviously had a better team.
Yeah.
Which is why they had a better record.
Yeah.
and with this, it's tricky. In years past, you were able to say, okay, if you take like the year that we debated, should LeBron James have won the MVP the year Derrick Rose won it, or should should Jason Kidd have won the MVP one of those years that Steve Nash went back to back, or should LeBron have won when Steph Curry won his two, especially the unanimous MVP a year award? Well, this year it's tricky because you can say, we used to argue, if you take that person off the team, will the team be as good?
Right.
But if you take, James Harden off the Rockets, they're going to be at best at 8th seed.
Yeah.
If you take, oh my God, if you take Russell Westbrook off of the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're
not even in contention.
Yeah, that's the Pelican spot.
They're not in contention, and that's why you cannot tell me. With that being said, you can't tell me that Westbrook is not more valuable to his team. And again, you take Harden off the Rockets, they're declining too. But like you said, they still have enough weapons, and all they would have to bring in there is another role player, I think.
Right.
And like you said, they're sitting at a seed at best.
Yeah.
But they're in
honestly, take Capella out that situation. Put DeMarcus Cousins in that position. You got DeMarcus Cousins, and then you got
another star to some degree.
Yeah,
but maybe not as big
and your Trevor Ariza, Ryan Anderson, Pat Bev, and Lou Williams. That's a decent starting five.
It is.
That's good enough to get you an 8th seed in the West. That's enough scoring power. But if you take Westbrook off of that Thunder team,
you're missing 30 points a game.
Right.
You're missing 11 assists a game, and you're missing 10 rebounds a game.
Correct. Justin, I'm pretty proud of you. You finally talking some good basketball since
Hey, man. I woke up.
I'm finally starting to rub off on you. It's about time.
A little bit.
A
little bit. But another one that I want to look at, and I'm trying to find Harden's right now, and I cannot find it. So if you guys are listening out there, when you guys listen to this, if you can find Harden's stat, please drop it. Even if it's better than Westbrook's stat, I just want to know because I can't find it online. But another stat that I think is really cool and something to look at. Westbrook, this season, in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, or overtime, whatever, in the final 5 minutes of the game, Westbrook has 425 points this season in the final 5 minutes. That is the most by any player in 20 seasons. I'm gonna say that one more time. Russell Westbrook in the final 5 minutes of the game this season has accumulated 425 points, and that is the most by any player in 20 seasons. He scored a 50-point triple-double.
Okay.
Which was the most by any player since, Robertson?
Mm-hmm.
And there was like a couple other ones. I think MJ had one or two up there.
MJ had one, and Kareem as well was on that list.
So I know we like to talk about, the MVP. We do have to focus on the team aspect of it as well, and I completely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when an argument is being made for this, and again, I think this is a special situation because I just think it's hard not to give it to this man after every record he's broken this year, records that will not be touched again in quite some time after this.
Correct.
The way that man plays, the way that the look in his eye when he steps on that court, if it's up to him, his team's not going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that James Harden doesn't,
come out with that same mentality.
But he doesn't possess that same eye of the tiger. He doesn't possess that same, by any means necessary. People like to say, take Westbrook all you want, but he's going to shoot you out of the game and da-da-da-da. Well, what do you think Harden's going to do? You think Harden's not going to pull up a few? I've seen him do it.
Mm-hmm.
And one place that also I think Westbrook excels over Harden, and I think I would get a lot of people to agree with me on this one, is defensively.
Yeah, most definitely. James Harden knows no defense.
And if you're telling me that defense has nothing to do with the overall outcome of how valuable you are to your team,
mm-hmm. You don't know basketball.
I don't feel like then.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? We're talking about practice, man.
Right. So so check this out. Before we get out of here, I have one more thing. I want to drop this on you. And the audience, if you're listening, comment as well. What do you think if the NBA were to kind of do like baseball and start having MVP of the MVP of the conference,
right?
Of each conference instead of doing one league-wide MVP?
That could get sticky.
I think because we're at a time and a place where so many players are almost getting discredited because of the fact that there's only one MVP. Now, I mean, there's still gonna be sticky situations because you look in the East, you got Paul George, you got Jimmy Butler, you got of course LeBron James, you got Isaiah Thomas, you got all those guys coming up, you know. And in the West, you got Kawhi, you got Russ, you got James and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a coveted trophy. But I think that it would make a lot more sense if it were, in the MLB they have, the NL MVP of the year and they have the AL MVP of the year, and they give awards for separate for separate conferences. Because there's so many players and so many teams and so many good people out there. And I think a lot of people get glossed over and missed because there's only one. There can only be one defensive player of the year. There can only be one, thing. And with this new ceremony that they're going to do, so now they don't just give out the awards throughout the year. Now they're actually going to do a ceremony show. This year will be hosted by Drake on June 9th on TNT. And they're going to give out the awards there, and they're basically the top players in each category will all be there. So it'll be like an actual award show. Okay, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be dope. I honestly, I like it to a degree. The way I look at it is, then it's one of those things where you're kind of creeping into. You have people all the time talk about. There was I think the Louisville coach where. You get to talking about like participation trophies and things like that, where it's like obviously not a participation trophy, but it's getting to the point where now we're starting to create more awards and doing things to kind of cater to more people that are being, and which. Don't get me wrong, I like it for that exact reason which you said. Like there are some people that you feel like do get glossed over and do deserve that, or do deserve the right to split that with some people some year. But then I think when we start getting into that, now we start creeping in the realm of making everybody happy, and that and I think that's bad for a competition standpoint.
Gotcha.
And I say that to mean, well, now I don't got to play to be the best player. I just got to be the best player in my situation over here. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And so you might not get your full effort from somebody. Oh yeah, such and such got in the East. All I got to do is continue to. All I got to do is score 10 points over my last few games to just ensure that I get mine. And then I think is when it starts getting a little sticky from a competition standpoint. But I don't know. I think if you can structure that in a way that's not so trying to please everybody, and more in a way that does make sense. Like I guess baseball's found a way to do that and make that be a thing. But then I also think you'll run into with two of them is the East being so weak. I think that's going to run into a problem of every year. As long as LeBron's in the East, it's going to be LeBron getting that MVP award.
Not necessarily, like I said, because I mean he's been passed on it a lot now. I
think that's because that's an overall thing, and they're like, well, over the whole league, we can't just sit here and give it to LeBron every year. But I think it's easier to do that when you're splitting it conference and conference, because at least somebody else different on this side is going to be up. But I mean, be expecting to see him here every year, and I just even still with it just being one award, he's always in the conversation anyways. And not to discredit anything, and I know a lot of you Cavs fans are going to get on here, God save me, please, not to discredit anything LeBron James has done for this league or how he's playing now. But let's just be real that overall this year, Russell Westbrook's numbers are freaking insane. He's breaking records that people haven't broken some time and will not touch after him for quite some time.
Correct.
because not even your guys' God himself, LeBron James, has done any of these things. So, I just think it's hard to skip over him. I think he's played his butt off this year for the situation given and tried to put his team in the best possible situation that he can on both sides of the ball. And at the end of the day, I just think it's, to wrap that MVP up, conversation up, I'm taking Westbrook all day, every day, to the new, to structuring the MVP different. I'm on the fence about it. I can't lean one way or the other because I see the positives in it that you were talking about, but then I also see the negative end of it, which I guess what it all sums up is you can't please everybody either way you go. So,
touche.
Who knows?
We're going to leave it at that after the wise words of Mr. Justin Lee, everybody. So check it out. Here's what we need you guys to do. We need you to like, comment, and share this podcast with all of your friends and everybody. We need those likes up. We need the likes. We need the comments. We need the loves. We need the hearts. We need to see the people in the house.
What are the 5 best podcasts of all time? Jet Mike,
and
Mike, because we spit hot fire.
Hot fire.
Joking. But seriously, guys, like, share, subscribe, follow. We got some giveaways coming up here pretty soon. I've got some more. I've got another gift card on the way from Amazon. Tiffany, I will get that to you this weekend. I'm sorry, it's been a crazy week. Shout out to our first winner. Actually, Michael Scott was the winner of the prize pack. He had me pay it forward. So we picked the secondary winner.
Nice.
Our second winner, she won as well, Tiffany Johnson. She won, and then she actually paid everything else forward, so she wants that gift card, though. But I don't blame her, because you can get a lot on Amazon, but everything else is being paid forward. So I got some AMC gift cards on the way. I got some Amazon gift cards on the way. So you guys want to tune in and listen, because, over the next year, man, me and Mike have got some real good stuff coming for you.
I ain't got a motherfucking thing for you. Justin got it for you. Actually, but no, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back again, checking in soon. We're going to try and maybe do one of these, maybe every month or something like that, and until we start up for season 3 and we go full in. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you share, listen to this podcast, and we will talk to you guys later. Peace.